That should about do it. So, my last video, I kind of touched on Apple a little bit and what my thoughts were on Apple. And my thoughts, for the most part, and I still stand by it somewhat, I'll get into that in a second, are that Apple's hardware is just shit. I give HP, Lenovo, and Toshiba shit because, if you want to fix or upgrade something in your laptop, you have to make sure the part is in their BIOS because they blacklist parts and put shit on a whitelist and every other fucking thing in the book. I've had that problem where I've gone to upgrade the DVD drive and the voltage was the same, the connector was the same, by all means it should work, but the BIOS won't let it work. Whereas Apple, it's not even possible to buy parts for, and the laptops aren't even engineered well. Nothing they make is engineered well. It's just overpriced shit. For $500, you could get a much more functional Ryzen laptop and it would probably outperform it too, if on Linux at least. Windows, you're fucking asking for miracles there. But for like $1,000, Apple's selling a dual-core processor laptop, for fuck's sake. Obviously, a quad-core Ryzen is going to outperform a dual-core Intel. And the fact is, there are quad-core Ryzen laptops for like $500, so why would you pay a fucking $1,000 for a dual-core? Why are dual-core processors still existing in fucking 2019, 2020? I don't know if the latest Apple devices still have dual cores, but I wouldn't put it past them. And to this day, I've maintained that the only Apple product worth buying is the Apple TV. It is the only thing that is engineered well. I'm getting rid of my Apple TV, though. And I just bought a tivo. And the reason why I bought the tivo, give me a second. Is because my experience in TV hasn't. This is the one I bought. It cost me $50 plus $3 something for tax and $5 ish, so I spent like $58 fucking dollars on it. It'll be here Sunday. I'll do an unboxing. But my experience with TV manufacturing, whatever the fuck you want to call it, TV devices, dongles and shit, hasn't been good. I very much like the fact that I can do an a la carte television plan and pay, even though I'm paying like $100 fucking dollars right now, because I've got Showtime, I've got Stars, and it's giving me shit right now too. I just hit my home screen, and this is why I'm getting rid of it. I've now had to re-sign into my Apple ID on my Apple TV 3 fucking times since I changed my fucking email address. I don't know why. It shouldn't be to the point where it's next to impossible to update my email address because I no longer have access to my email account for whatever reason. And I don't remember my security questions. My username and password should be enough to validate who the fuck I am. If I can't update my email address, I'm not talking about fucking credit card information or any of that shit. I can understand security questions for that. My bank does security questions for shit like that. But my username and password should be more than enough to update my fucking email address. And it is next to impossible, to the point where I had to literally refresh the page over and over until I got to 2 security questions that I remembered the answer to, because one of them I didn't, and it kept asking that fucking question. And so I'm going to be deleting my Apple account as soon as the TiVo comes in. I'm fucking done with this shit. Give me a second to put in my Apple ID password here. And now we'll see how many times this week am I gonna have to put this in. Because quite frankly, I'm already sick of it. I shouldn't have to put in my Apple ID on my TV service 3 fucking times in less than 18 hours. Okay, so I recently upgraded to HBO Max, and that's one of my reasonings why I bought the TV. I'll get to that in a second. Um, it's not the best streaming service, and I'll give them shit this way till Sunday for a lot of the shit decisions they made launching that. Uh, in particular, there's a lot of shit they own that's not on there for some reason. You still need a cable login to watch Rick and Morty, and a lot of other shit on Adult Swim and Cartoon Network, which is fucking dumb as hell. I don't know why the industry is going this way, but I'll get into that towards the end of the video. I just want to touch base on this shit. So I have HBO Max, I have Starz, I have Showtime, I have Netflix, I have Prime Video, I have Hulu, I have Disney Plus, I have DC Universe, I have Shudder, I have Verve, and I have Funimation. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 right now. Oh, and CBS is part of the Showtime. So I have like 10 subscriptions right now. I'll be getting Peacock when that launches, but I pay about $100 fucking dollars for my cable. And if you look at Xfinity, what they charge for the package with all the movie channels, it's I think $150, and after that period ends, it's up to $200. So I'm still paying less than average a year for cable. So long as I'm under the average, the annual average, I don't really mind paying for 10 or 11. But, it's shit like the fact that Disney launched Disney Plus, even though they now own Hulu, and they could have just put everything on fucking Hulu in one place. There are some Disney shows, like the Lilo and Stitch TV show, that aren't on there, so they're not putting everything they own on there. HBO Max, like I just said, are still requiring a cable login. And I feel like the industry, and I've touched base on this in the past, is realizing that, well, I don't really know how to put this. It's just that they're money-grubbing bastards is basically it. Because when streaming first took place, it was just Netflix and it was Hulu. And everything you could ever want to watch was on both. Hulu was co-owned by multiple fucking companies, and that's the way it should have been, and should have stayed, but it didn't. CW took all their shit off, Viacom did the same after that. Piracy on both, everything Viacom owns and CW owns ensued immediately after, because of course no one wants to pay for cable anymore, and they'd rather pirate shit than fucking pay for cable. Seems like the cable industry doesn't understand this for shit, but hey, it's their fucking loss. And then Fox decided, well, we're not making enough money, so we're going to put an ad before and after the shows. Which is fine, I'll watch the one ad, and then fucking when the show ends, cut it off before the second ad. And it's shit like that really ruined streaming to the point where now it's basically, it's still cheaper than cable if you actually price it out. But it's not that much cheaper. It went from I'm paying like $20 for my cable to now I'm paying $100. So I'm still saving money. I'm just not saving drastically as much. So the first thing I bought was a Roku Premiere, and that thing was a hunk of shit. The Wi-Fi card in those things is abysmal. There's no way to hook up a pair of Bluetooth headphones. The app is a piece of shit, and I don't like using it. I don't like the fact that if I want to hook up Bluetooth headphones, I have to do it through my phone. I don't like the fact that the Point Anywhere remote exists, because every wireless device in my room, including the fan that's above my head, basically interrupts it and makes it so it doesn't work. I don't know why you didn't fucking use Bluetooth. And so I moved to a Fire TV stick. And I only made a couple videos before I got rid of that because, granted, it fixed everything. It had better Wi-Fi signal. I could actually tell what Wi-Fi signal was in it because it actually lists it on the details of the product. Roku doesn't do that. Good luck finding out what type of Wi-Fi is in a Roku. So the Wi-Fi was better, everything was better. I could hook up a Bluetooth headphone. But the App Store on the Fire Stick is a confusing pile of dog shit. And that plus the redundant home screen where it's basically, hey, we took Prime Video and added an extra row for apps, is kind of fucking dumb. And so I got rid of that, and I spent $150 fucking on this Apple TV. And for the past year, it's been great. I've loved my Apple TV. It works great. I like the fact that when HBO Max launched, one of the rare few devices was my Apple TV. I don't know why they didn't launch on Roku and Fire Stick. That just seems like a fucking missed opportunity. But there have been some things that have made me question, do I want to keep my Apple TV? Excuse me. And between the issues I had recently, which was really the straw that broke the camel's back of me deciding to fucking buy something else, what really started it was the update to tvOS 13 with this bullshit dynamic mode where I can't set what theme I want, whether I want light or dark. I don't like the fact, I never liked the fact, that there's, and this is the other thing I hated about the Fire Stick 2, by the way, there's just a bunch of apps that are the company that made the devices shit that I can't remove. So it's just stuck on my home screen and I'm never going to fucking use it. When they updated to 13, it added yet another piece of shit I'm never going to use, and that is the arcade app. I'm never going to use the arcade app. I can't delete the arcade app. It's just there. And it's little shit like this that just made me go from loving the Apple TV to being fucking annoyed by it. Now, there are some people who have stated that they hate this, but I don't mind it. In fact, I like it. What I hate about it is, I don't know if it's going to show up, but this is discolored. And it's probably from like the grease and shit, but it's also glass, so you have to buy a silicone pad. Well, the problem is, that does show up. It's fucking disgusting. And it's just a petri dish of bullshit. And you have to do this because otherwise if you drop it, it breaks. And it's just little things that have made me really hate the Apple TV over time, even though it's a great device. And like I said, I went with the HD model because the 4K model, one, HDR is bullshit. You don't know what standard. There's HDR10, HDR10 Plus, HLG, Dolby Vision. There's too many fucking versions. There's no one definitive standard. And that's not even covering that there's like 3 or 4 different color charts that can be applied to HDR. So there's really no fucking standard there. Whereas SDR is still a standard. It has been a standard for the longest time. And then there's really not much coming out of Hollywood in 4K that's actually true 4K. There are some here and there, but it's relatively larger films. I still watch DVDs from time to time. Put it in upscaler, it's fine, but I don't see the point in buying something that was released on VHS at one point in time, and buying a 4K version of that, whether it's on fucking Apple or goddamn what else. So I bought the TiVo because I have yet to use Android TV, and I didn't feel like paying $150 to $200 fucking dollars for an NVIDIA Shield, and this was relatively cheap. It's $50 fucking dollars. So that's a really good thing. The reason why I decided to buy the TiVo is not because of Sling. I've had Sling, and they've fucking harassed me non-stop about the fact that I stopped using Sling because I didn't see the need. I was actually one of the first people to sign up for it, but, I just don't see the need in buying yet another thing that costs like $20 fucking dollars. The only reason why I would use Sling is because it can be used as a cable login for Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. That's really the only reason to get Sling, because I'd rather pay $25 than pay for a cable subscription on top of what I'm currently paying. But even that, I'm not, willing to fucking do that. That's kind of fucking annoying. I might revisit Sling and take a look at some of the apps I have and see how much money I could save if I went to something like Sling. But the one thing I liked about the Apple TV originally, I don't like it anymore because of what they've done, that is available on the TiVo, is there is an app that you can't remove on the Apple TV called Apple TV. Now, originally, when you had this thing at the top and you put your, you swipe the thing so it's highlighted, it would show you the television show that you watched. It was all about me, which is the way it should be. Well, since the update of tvOS 13, it shows me bullshit ads that I don't give a fuck about. And I've brought that up before, and I fucking hate it. And I think it's fucking stupid. So the TiVo does do that, puts everything in one place, and I think it does it better than Apple. So that's one of the real reasons why I went with this. And the other reason which sold me on it wasn't just that it, has the TiVo app, which puts everything in one place, but also because HBO Max is available on Android. It's not available on Fire Sticks, but it is available on Android. Go figure. So everything I have, I can watch on the TiVo when it gets here in 4 or 5 days or so. It's coming through FedEx. I am going to do an unboxing of the TiVo, but as soon as the TiVo gets here and I set it up, I now have a notification there. I will be getting rid of my Apple TV, and I will be selling it to someone. I don't know who. And I will be getting rid of my Apple account. Because I'm not going to put up with the fact that I've now had to sign up into my account 3 fucking times in the course of 18 hours on my Apple TV. I'm not going to put up with the fact that they're making changes that I can't control. I can't turn dynamic mode off because I don't like it. I can't remove the bullshit that I don't use. The Apple TV is just showing me fucking commercials for things I don't care about. Excuse me. And I'm just not going to put up with the fact that their security is so fucking great that I can't update my email address just by using my username and password. That seems fucking dumb. And I had to explain to the woman on the phone that, no, using your phone for two-factor authentication, can't talk right now, is the worst form of security there is. There is literally software online that I've heard about, I've never used it, that would basically allow you to take someone's phone number, if you know it, and get into any account. From what I read about how the CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, I think he is, got his Twitter account hacked, that's how his Twitter account got hacked. It wasn't because someone found out his password, it's because someone found out his phone number. Two-factor authentication through your phone is fucking terrible security, and the fact that Apple's pushing it really makes me question their security. The fact that their security is so good that I can't update my email address is fucking bullshit. There is no reason for your security to be so ridiculously more complex than my bank's. So, I'm just done with Apple. I can't in good faith recommend the Apple TV anymore because of all the bullshit I've had to deal with recently since my last video. And then there's the fact that, like, if you aren't in the Apple ecosystem, like I told the lady, I have Lineage Android on my phone. Basically non-Google Android. There's no Google shit in that Android. I run Linux on my laptop and my computers. The only Apple device I have is the Apple TV right now, and I'm not willing to go deeper into the Apple ecosystem. And I gave them credit when I set that up, that it was great that I could set it up without being in the Apple ecosystem. Well, that kind of went up shit's creek real fast as soon as I had to install any apps, because you can't install the apps without tying your Apple ID to something like Apple Music, which is fucking dumb. So you really do have to be at least somewhere in the Apple ecosystem to get a fucking Apple TV set up properly. And it's fucking stupid, and it shouldn't be that way. The security is way too fucking tight, and I know I already mentioned that, but I can't get it through my head why I wasn't able to just update my email address. And I'm just done with Apple. So, yeah, that's pretty much this quick video over. About 20-minute video. I'm gonna end it here. So, when I get the TiVo, I'll do an unboxing, and I'll show you guys that. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. And let me know if you've had any bad experience with Apple. I'm curious if I'm the only one who's had like this terrible of an experience.